Alright, what's good YouTube? It's yugioh ASMR here and welcome back to another video on the channel. With the WCQ season quickly approaching, players are scrambling to try and figure out what decks they want to play for their respective World Championship qualifier. And one deck that I've been taking particular interest in is actually a deck that's been around for around 10 years, Ritual Beast. In the new Battles of Legends set we're going to be receiving around in like June, Ritual Beast is getting some incredible legacy support, which is unironically going to make the deck competitively viable. In this video, I'm going to be giving you just a template deck profile that you can base your lists off, and then after that show some basic 1 to 2 card combos so that you can know some of the lines the deck is trying to accomplish post Battles of Legend. I'm filming this video before the April ban list, so some of the cards in here might be a little bit different if you're watching this after. And so yeah, this is by no means a deck that you can just pick up and play. This is for sure one of the harder decks in the game. So if you are somebody who might be seriously considering to pick this deck up, maybe for your WCQ or a regional or even a YCS down the line, pick up the cards as soon as you can, learn the combos, take the time to practice this deck because this is a deck that punishes you if you make a misplay. So what I've gone ahead and done, this is before Battles of Legend, I printed out some proxies here, so I'm going to be showing you the combos and showing you the lines as best as I can. And if you're someone who's not going to be picking up this deck at all, I still highly implore you to just watch this video, or at least just watch a little bit of it, so that you know the general gist and the gimmicks that the deck is trying to do, because if you play against this deck and you have no idea what the cards do, and you have no idea what's going on, you're gonna lose, because this deck is just ignorant to play against. It's got some game mechanics and tools to its advantage that no other deck in the game has. It's extremely unique in its play style, and it's important to know what's going on so you can maintain that legal game states are being maintained essentially, because this deck is one that is pretty easy to do illegal plays with, and I'll talk a little bit about that later down the line. So I recommend watching this video whether you are or aren't picking up this deck, and I'm very excited to get into it. So why don't we just give you a quick deck profile, and then after that we're going to get into some combo tutorials. For the main deck we have 40 cards. First off we have the new card, 3 copies of Spiritual Beast Tamer Lara. This card is what makes the deck playable. It is an incredible piece of legacy support. What's cool about this card is that for those of you who don't know anything about Ritual Beast as a deck, it's a deck which is comprised of the Spiritual Beast monsters and Ritual Beast Tamers. Lara is unique because this is essentially a retrain of an old card of this Lara right here, Ritual Beast Tamer Lara, and this card's unique because it's a Spiritual Beast monster and a Ritual Beast Tamer, so it can be used flexibly for any of your fusion requirements for ulti Cannahawk, which makes this card incredible. It has 3 great effects. Firstly, you can discard it to immediately then normal summon, which can be used under cards like Dimension Shifter. When banished, it special summons from your deck any Spiritual Beast monster, which is crazy. And then if one of your guys would be destroyed by battle or card effect, you can banish it instead. So this card's incredible, a great piece of support. Most of the combos involve this card. It's a great extender. It's just everything that this deck needed to make it actually playable today. So we play 3 of this card, obviously. Next we play 3 copies of Spiritual Beast Cannahawk. This is your 1-card combo, as well as 3 copies of Spiritual Beast Pengu. So the deck actually has now 6 1-card combos. So 1 Cannahawk or 1 Pengu is combo, which is amazing. Cannahawk is by far the better starter because it ends on like 4 interruptions by itself. Next we play 3 copies of Elder. This is a great card. It's an old school one. When it's normal summoned later on in the turn, you're allowed to normal summon again. So one thing to know, if you know nothing about Ritual Beasts or the deck in general and the mechanics, all of these monsters, all the Ritual Beasts, all the Tamers can only be special summoned once during the turn, but none of their effects are once per turn. So in order to abuse the soft once per turn effects, even though you can only special summon them once, the deck gets creative and basically gives you from up to 3 to 5 normal summons per turn, which is kind of crazy. Next we play some of the engine requirements. So we play 1 Spiritual Beast Tamer Winder, 1 copy of Wen, which is really important for the combos, 1 copy of the old Lara. So I'm going to call this new Lara and this one old Lara, and 1 Apelio. This is pretty much as close as you can cut the Tamers and your Spiritual Beasts. There are other cards you can play, like Zephyr and Pilica, which has utility for sure and comes up in certain combos. So you might want to play one copy of Zephyr and Pilica. Personally, I don't think it's necessary. I'd rather really prioritize my non-engine. And so this is enough, to be honest, to do most of the good enough combos. Next up, for engine, we have 3 copies of Inheritance. This is another new card that we're going to be receiving in Battles of Legend. And essentially, it is a great piece of consistency bonus. Essentially, this card has the effect to reveal a Ritual Beast monster in your hand, search one with a different type, then on resolution discard. So it is a -1, which kind of sucks, but it gives the deck much needed consistency, which was one of its issues. It also has neat effects to attack modify based on the different types you have on the board. And if you special summon Ritual Beasts simultaneously, you're able to change the battle position of a monster on the board, which can have utility against matchups like Tempai Dragon, which is a deck which solely relies on the battle phase. We have 1 copy of Spiritual Beast Bond. This is a card which is relevant in certain combos, has the effect to, as cost, banish 2 Ritual Beasts and summon 1 from your extra deck, ignoring its summoning conditions, which has utility for certain 1-card combos with Pengu. And then finally, wrapping it up with 2 copies of Steeds. If you played against this deck, or back in the day, this card was bonkers, so there's nothing really to say here. So we have 22 engine in the deck. Which is great because the deck's so consistent, so we have a lot of space for non-engine. For hand traps, just take this as a template. I play 3 copies of Ash, which I think is going to be fantastic into the new format. Why the deck is so alluring to me is because it can play one of the most broken cards in the game, Dimension Shifter. Not only can this deck play D-Shifter, but the deck actually improves its combos with D-Shifter, which is cracked. So this card's amazing. It needs no introduction. I played 3 copies of Imperm, and I played a single Nibiru and a single Droll Lockbird because I am playing Crossout Designator in this main deck. Nibiru can be a bit of a problematic hand trap for the deck. You can only really play around it if you open 2-card combos with Elder. So for that reason, I think Crossout might be something you want to consider. If you open a 2-card combo, you can make an early Appaloosa, which is pretty good. Same thing with Droll. The deck can actually play through Droll pretty easily, to be honest, but you're going to have hands sometimes where you might need to resolve a search first to actually start playing the game. D-Shift is also great because it turns off Droll, but I still think it's warranted being played, and it's pretty good against Tempai Dragon if you draw it regardless. So 11 hand traps. And then another card I'm just personally testing out is Fenrir. This card's still legal at the time of filming this video, or is that 3 copies? I think Fenrir is actually quite a nice addition to the deck because with Inheritance, you have to discard, which kind of sucks. So having just a free discard engine in Fenrir is pretty good. One of the other problems with the Ritual Beast deck that I started to notice from a lot of my testing was that it has a difficult job at removing cards from the board. Aside from your Rheaturia, your Link 4 monster, there aren't really a lot of ways to remove cards that aren't monsters off the board, and so Fenrir is just a great way to remove problematic cards. So I might consider playing 3 copies of Fenrir in the future for sure. And then one card which is a little bit controversial in this deck is Prosperity. Prosp is a bit weird. Your extra deck is quite tight between your dumping with Pengu, between having to go through multiple like Cannahawks and Dragos and stuff like that, and IP and SP. This card's like a little bit a bit dangerous, to be honest with you. Most of the time, whenever I'm using Prosp, I found in my testing, I'm only banishing 3 cards. If I draw no starter though, I'm definitely banishing 6 because then I can't play the game. So this is a card which is just a little boost in consistency. You might want to consider playing Emergency Teleport in this slot because it is an extender. However, E-Tele isn't a starter. So I would rather boost my consistency, just have more ways to try and play the game than to play E-Tele in my opinion, but that might change down the line. But usually with Prosp, it's just a little consistency boost. Usually I'm just banishing 3. And then the final card is 2 Crossout Designator in the main deck. I actually don't play Called By because I found a lot of the time if I draw D-Shifter, it actually turns off my own Called By. So Crossout's pretty good, just being able to hit Nibiru and stuff like that. The deck plays pretty well into Veiler and Imperm anyway, and there's also D-Shifter, which invalidates half of those hand traps, so I thought 2 was just fine. For the extra deck, first of all, this card needs no introduction, Ulti Cannahawk. If you don't know what this card does, if you've never seen this card before, get prepared. Next up, we have 2 copies of Ulti Drago. This is a incredible piece of legacy support that's coming out in Battles of Legend. This card is what enables a lot of your one-card combos with around Pengu. It essentially gives your deck incredible follow-up as well, even after cracking your board. Has a tag out effect, and what's probably the craziest part about this card is that it provides targeting protection on all of your Ritual Beast monsters except itself. So good luck against Runic matchups, good luck against, I don't know, Sky Striker or whatever. It's just, this card's just so ignorant for some decks to deal with, and you can have like no board on the crackback for turn 3, and then just contact fuse from your field or graveyard to summon this and get your whole engine back online. So this is an incredible card for the deck. We play 1 Ulti Apelio and 1 Ulti Gaia Apelio. Both of these are important in the deck. This one's important to dump Apelio, and this one you can occasionally summon against like certain decks that might have Spell and Trap as their focus. So Gaia Apelio is just nice to have in the deck for negation. 2 copies of Falcos. This is an important card that you need to basically summon in every combo. 1 to dump off your Rampengu and 1 to special summon to get another normal summon. And then this card, the Ulti Rayatoria. This is one of the boss monster, the new boss monster of the deck. Incredible card. Neither player contribute cards to activate effects, so good luck Drytron players, good luck Infernoid players, good luck Sky Striker players. No tributing allowed. You still can get nibbed, unfortunately, because that's an effect, but just that Floodgate alone is really strong. And then once per turn, add a Ritual Beast card from your graveyard back to the hand, then immediately normal summon. And then as a quick effect on your opponent's turn, target a Ritual Beast on your field and 1 card they control and banish them. So obviously you can target maybe your Cannahawk, your Drago, and then you can chain those to someone from your banish pile, and you don't even get to have, you don't even have to banish, and their card will still be banished too. I then play Appaloosa. Comes up in some combos. If you open Elder Hawk or if you open Elder Rampengu, you can basically make an early Appo to protect yourself from Nib. And then I play IP and SP. Comes up in a lot of lines, as well as Unicorn and Access Code Talker, just to have like an OTK line, just to have an option to like clear cards off the board and to try and push for game. So that is just the deck profile, but why don't we get into some combos? Alright, so let's get into what you've all been waiting for, the combo tutorial. So for this first combo, I'm going to show you what you can do with just 1 copy of Spiritual Beast Cannahawk. Feel free to replay this video or this combo as much as you want if you're unfamiliar, just to understand what's going on. I'm going to try my best to explain things and make it as easy to follow along. So sorry if I get a bit lost here, but I'll do my best. So what can we do with just 1 Cannahawk? We're going to start by normal summoning it and using the effect to banish from our deck to the grave a Spiritual Beast monster. So we're going to banish the new copy of Lara. On resolution, Lara's going to trigger to summon any guy from our deck. So here we're going to get just old Lara here. It doesn't really matter, we're just going to immediately contact fuse it off here. So here we're going to banish these to summon Cannahawk. We can use the effect of Ulti Cannahawk here to target, in this case we're going to target Lara, and we're going to target Cannahawk, and then we're going to chain link 2, use Cannahawk's second effect to return it back to the extra deck to summon and target our new Lara and our Cannahawk. So we're going to summon these back. This returns to the grave as chain link 1, and we're still going to get our search. So here we're going to search a copy of Wen. So this is pretty much the fundamental gimmick that the deck has. We're just going to abuse Cannahawk up to like 5 times per turn to target 2 things, then return 1 of those targets, summon 2 more, and search. Alright, so at this point what we're going to do is we're going to use the effect of Cannahawk on resolution to once again banish a guy from our deck. So here we're going to banish out Rampengu. Now we can go ahead and link 2 into Kimon Falcus. It has the effect where we can banish a Ritual Beast card from our graveyard to immediately then normal summon. So we're going to banish the Cannahawk here and normal summon Wen. We can now use Wen's effect on normal summon to special summon a Ritual Beast from our banished pile. So we're going to get our Pengu here. We can now use Pengu's effect to banish a Ritual Beast from our extra deck and then mill the same type from our deck to the grave. So we're going to just banish a second copy of Falcos here. And now we'll be able to foolish any psychic Ritual Beast. So here we're going to send Winder, which is a unique card because it's both a tamer and a spiritual beast. So you can, it's very flexible in its fusion requirement. So at this point, what we're going to do is we're going to loop Cannahawk once more. So we're going to banish these right here, and we're going to summon back our ulti Cannahawk. And at this point, what we're going to want to do is now contact fuse. So we're going to banish here the Winder, and we're going to banish, in this case, doesn't really matter here, but we'll get rid of our old Lara here, and we're going to contact fuse into Drago. We're not really going to use its effect here. It's just there to load our Winder in the banish pile so that we have legal targets to summon back with Cannahawk, because remember, we can only special summon all of these monsters once per turn. So we've already summoned old Lara, we've already special summoned Pengu, we've already special summoned Cannahawk, and obviously this cannot be summoned because it was sent as from a card effect. So our only guys we can summon here are Wen and Winder here. I just had to explain that because you might be thinking, why don't you just summon any of them? Remember, we can only special summon all of them once per turn. That's why it's important to remember what's going on so that a legal game state is maintained. So we're going to use Cannahawk here. We're going to target, in this case, Wen, and we can target our Falcos here. Then we're going to chain Cannahawk to return it to the extra deck, summon out that Wen, targeting our Winder and our Wen. So these get summoned. Falcos returns back to the grave. And here we're going to search a copy of Elder. At this point here, we're going to perform a link summon. So we're going to link off our Falcos, our Wen, and our Winder. And here we're going to summon out our Rheatoria. We can now use the effect of Rheatoria targeting Cannahawk in our banish pile to add it back to our hand and immediately normal summon. So we're going to add that back. And we don't have to normal summon what we add back. So here we can actually just normal summon the Elder, and Elder gives us the effect to normal summon again this turn. So even though we've only special summoned Cannahawk once, we've now used its effect to banish 3 times. So we're going to use the effect of Cannahawk here, and here we're going to banish Apelio. And now we're going to loop Cannahawk again. Contact fuse, summon Cannahawk, use the effect. Here we can target just normal Cannahawk, and say, for example, Elder. Then we can chain Cannahawk to bounce that back, target Elder and Apelio to summon these out. And we're going to return our Cannahawk here, and here we're going to search a copy of Steeds. Now, there are 2 things you can either do here. One is you can link these off into a copy of IP Masquerena. Okay, but what I usually like to do is just loop Cannahawk one more time. So we're going to summon back Cannahawk, and now we have no more monsters to summon back off. All of these have already been special summoned. So here we're actually just going to return, in this case, Elder and Pengu. And I'm just going to search another copy of Steeds. And this is our end board from 1 Cannahawk, a 1-card combo. On our opponent's turn, what we can do is say something like they activate a Tempai Dragon field spell. We can chain Ulti Drago targeting Ulti Cannahawk and their field spell to banish them. We can then chain Cannahawk to tag it out to summon back our 2 monsters here. It's for free. And then let's say they start summoning monsters, we can activate a copy of Steeds to basically wipe 4 monsters on the field. And let's say even if they're able to out this, we can then contact fuse for another Ulti Drago, banish our Lara that's in the graveyard here, and then be able to full combo them once more, or go for an OTK line. Keep in mind we have double Steeds, and Apelio as a quick effect can also banish that Lara to generate more advantage, have a bigger board wipe with Steeds, and also remember none of these can be targeted because Ulti Drago's on the board. So that's what you can do with just like a 1-card combo. Alright, so here's another 1-card combo we can do with now just Pengu. This is substantially worse than one Cannahawk, but it's still a combo for sure, and at least it makes a few interruptions. So for this combo, we can start by normal summoning Pengu. Using the effect, we're going to dump from our extra deck to the grave a copy of Cannahawk, to Foolish Burial a copy of the new Lara. Put the banish pile over here. Now we can contact Fuse here, banishing these to summon out the new ulti Drago. On res, Lara will trigger because it's banished. We can summon from our deck to the field a copy of Cannahawk. We can now use the effect of Cannahawk to banish a copy of the new Lara. And from here what we're going to do is use the effect of Drago. So like ulti Cannahawk, we can actually tag it out, and here we can special summon back from our banish pile. So we're going to summon back the new Lara here, and on resolution from here we're going to contact Fuse into ulti Cannahawk, because remember we need a ritual beast tamer and a spiritual beast. We weren't able to use that before to summon ulti Cannahawk here. So here we're going to use Cannahawk. We're going to target in this case the new Lara and the old Lara to return them back to the grave to search, and then we're going to chain Cannahawk, this chain link 2, to special summon back that new Lara, and we're going to special summon back Pengu. Chain link 1 resolves to return back the new Lara, just to have it in the graveyard to banish it maybe later in the game to generate more advantage. And we're going to search here a copy of Bond. Here we can use the effect of Pengu again, and instead this time we're going to actually dump a copy of ulti, we're going to dump a copy of Apelio to the grave. And from here what we can do is activate Bond. So we're going to banish our Pengu and our Ritual Beast Tamer Lara as cost, and that's going to just cheat out our copy of Rheatoria. We can now use the effect of Rheatoria to add back one of our banished monsters and then immediately normal summon. So we're going to add back the old Lara here, normal summon that, and use the effect of Monster Reborn, a Ritual Beast from our graveyard. So we're going to summon back the Apelio. Now we can use Apelio to banish, in this case, the Bond. It can be any Ritual Beast card, and all of our monsters gain 500 attack, but that's not really relevant, because we're just going to fuse these off again into Cannahawk. And we have nothing here to special summon, they've all already been specialed, so we're just going to use the effect to return, in this case, the Bond. It's for free, and we'll return, I suppose, the Pengu, and we're going to search from our deck to the hand a copy of Steeds. So this is substantially worse for sure. It's only 2 interruptions, but it's still a pretty decent combo. Remember, you have 4 of the cards in the hand, so probably some hand traps and maybe a D-shifter. Alright, so because this video is becoming a documentary, I'm just going to show one more combo. Bear in mind, there's literally, like, I'm not even exaggerating, hundreds of combos you can do with this deck, but this is just a standard 2-card combo which involves Elder plus Hawk. It's the same if you open Elder plus Pengu. So summoning Elder, which gives us another normal summon, so we'll normal summon the Cannahawk. We can now use Cannahawk, and this time we're going to banish Pengu. And now we're going to start our Cannahawk loop. So we're going to contact Fuse these by banishing them to summon ulti Cannahawk. Use the effect targeting Cannahawk and Elder or Pengu, doesn't matter, and then we're just going to chain it, targeting the Elder and the Pengu. So these will get summoned back, and our Cannahawk will go to the grave. Chain link 1 resolves, and we will search from our deck to the hand a copy of Old Lara. So here we can now use the effect of Pengu to banish a psychic monster, in this case Cannahawk, and we're going to dump from our deck to the grave the Old Lara. And from here we're going to link 2 into Cannahawk to give us another normal summon. So we're going to link summon this, use the effect, and we're going to banish our Pengu to immediately on res normal summon. So we're going to summon out here Old Lara, use the effect of Old Lara to special summon Spiritual Beast Cannahawk. Now we can use the effect of Cannahawk here, and we're just going to banish Apelio. It'll be important down the line. So I want to just mention that you can also banish here Steeds to basically play around Nibiru, because what we could do here is link 3 of these into a 3-material Appaloosa if we're scared of Nid, because from what we could do there is contact Fuse with our new Lara and our Elder to make Drago, and then still make a board through that. But assuming you don't want to respect Nibiru, what we would do here then is contact Fuse into our Drago, trigger the effect on resolution of our new Lara to summon out from our deck a copy of Winder. At this point, we're going to contact into Cannahawk once more, use the effect targeting Old Lara, and we're going to target new Lara. We're going to chain Cannahawk, we're going to summon back that Lara, and we're going to summon the Apelio that we just banished before. and we're going to send back our Lara. And chain link 1 resolves, and we're going to search a copy of Steeds. From here, what we're going to do is we're going to link 4 into Rayatoria. So we're going to take specifically the Lara, the Winder, and the Cannahawk, right? And that's going to summon out our Rayatoria. Now we're going to use a Pelio's effect, targeting our old Lara to banish it. Because then what we're going to do is use Rayatoria's effect to add back that old Lara we just banished and immediately normal summon it. Then we'll use Lara's effect to summon back the Cannahawk that we link summoned. And from here, you can either make an IP Masquerena if you so wish, or we can, what I like to do is loop Cannahawk once more, use the effect. We can return here, in this case, just Cannahawk, and we'll return our Lara. And we can search a copy of Steeds. And you can just set these at pass, but if you so wish, you can also, for example, link these into something like an SP Little Knight. Use the effect of Little Knight targeting our Cannahawk, which we can then tag out during our opponent's turn with our Drago, if we so wish. And then this can generate and summon back 2 more bodies, and we have Little Knight as well. So that is just a basic 2-card combo. Hope you enjoyed this video. Hope you found it informative. Sorry if it was really long, and best of luck with learning this deck if you're wanting to pick it up. I hope this video wasn't too convoluted and it was easy enough to follow along. But thank you so much for watching, and until next time, I'll see you later. Bye!